Today's article is from Financial Times. Title says, Quant Funds support market rally by ramping up bets on US stocks. Investors that rely on statistical trading model are quickly unwinding bearish position. 스태티스티컬 트레이딩 모델에 기반한 퀀트 펀드들이 베리시 포지션을 청산하고 있다라고 하네요. Quant funds are increasing their bets on US stocks, helping fuel a sharp rally that has added $7 trillion in value to market since June, even as economic data point to a slowdown in the world's largest economy. In many cases, the fund, which look for trend in the market and then attempt to ride momentum, have quickly unwind the position taken in late 2021 and earlier this year that was structured to benefit from falling stock market. As they have closed down those bearish bets, they have helped push stock prices higher and then follow the new trend by making fresh wages that benefit from the rally. Charlie McAligot, a strategist at Nomura, said quant funds moved fast and unemotionally to shift their stance, catching a very bearish market, very flat-footed. Those funds have spent tens of billions of dollars on futures, helping push the benchmark S&P 500 and tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite up double digits from recent low, according to the traders and analysts. 퀀트 펀드들이 작년 말부터 올 초까지 하락에 베팅을 했었는데 그러한 베리시 베팅을 청산했다라고 합니다. Nomura estimate trend following hedge fund and volatility control fund have purchased $107 billion of global stock futures since market hit a low in late June, with a large portion of those used to close short positions. The positioning basically at the low, there was a lot of cash on the sideline, and so as the market stabilizes and started to rally, more and more of this flow has come back into the market, said Glenn Gould, the head of equity trading at Bank of America. 숏 포지션을 청산하기 위해서 트렌드 팔로잉 헤지 펀드나 볼래틸리티 컨트롤 펀드에서 107 빌리언 달러의 매수를 했다라고 합니다. The role of computer-driven fund helped to partly explain the head-scratching advances in the 47 trillion US stock market. Whether the risk on shift can last depends on whether the Federal Reserve can raise rate to dampen economic activity and stamp out inflation without pushing the world's largest economy into recession. Investors moved to the sideline en masse as the stock slid earlier this year, and many trend-following hedge funds placed a short bet on the market as they predicted further declines. Market was pummeled by Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February, surging commodity prices, and threat of economic slowdown in China, US, and Western Europe, just as the central bank raised the interest rate to snuff out inflation. But after S&P 500 fell into bear market in June, market snapped back, recouping more than half its losses this year. 이러한 리스크 온 시프트가 계속될지는 페더럴 리저브가 인터레스트 레이트를 올리면서도 인플레이션을 세계의 경기 침체 없이 둘이 뽑을 수 있는지에 달려 있다라고 합니다. Investors have pointed to other factors propelling the recovery in addition to short squeezed pushing. Some fund back into the market. Some managers are betting inflation could peak, while others argue spurt of weak economic data might stop Fed from lifting interest rate as aggressively as some policymakers believe it must. Alongside the rally, dramatic price swing that had characterized the sell-off all year in this year has eased. Gauges of volatility have fallen, with the CBOE's fixed volatility index closing this month below its long-term average of 20 for the first time since April. 숏 스케줄로 밀어올린 주가 이외에도 어떤 투자자들은 인플레이션이 피크를 쳤다라는 것에 베팅을 하기도 합니다. 이와 함께 CBOE의 픽스 볼러틸리티 인덱스가 4월 이후 처음으로 20밑으로 떨어졌다라고 합니다. Daily swing in the S&P 500 and in many of the stocks that comprise the index have become smaller than they were between January and June. If that trend continues, door will be open for large pool of funds that shift positions based on the volatility to increase their wages on equities. JP Morgan Chase analyst said buying may continue. It told its hedge fund client last week that volatility targeting and risk pair fund were buying roughly $2 billion to $4 billion worth of equity a day. The bank estimated those purchases can last perhaps another 100 days if volatility stays low. Marco Konanovic, JP Morgan strategist, said rally has reached most corner of the market. About 88% of S&P 500 stock are trading above their average over the past 50 days, up from just 2% in mid-June. Strong participation is indication that this rally is durable. Another expression, markets tail risk has receded. Konanovic said volatility targeters can be expected to add exposure overall and especially to equities. 이러한 volatility 기인한 펀드들은 그러한 트렌드가 계속될 수 있다라고 합니다. JP 모건 체이스의 애널리스트는 실제로 저번 주 volatility targeting과 risk parity 펀딩에 매일 2빌리언에서 4빌리언의 매수를 했다라고 하고 이러한 volatility가 낮게 유지된다면 앞으로 100일 동안 계속 매수가 이어질 수 있다라고 합니다. Fund managers have grown more optimistic after polling portfolio managers this month. Michael Harnett, strategist at Bank of America, said they were no longer apologetically bearish. Big caveat remains. Fed policymakers have warned they could raise rates higher and keep them for longer than traders currently predict. And inflation or both shock could yet rattle market. That explains why rally so far been led by systematic fund rather than traditional money managers and long-short equity hedge fund. You see some people taking short of, said Mike Lewis, the head of U.S. cash equity trading at Barclays. But you haven't really seen people taking money and putting it back to work. 큰 전제 조건은 Fed에서 인터레스트 레이트를 계속 높고 더 오랫동안 유지할 수 있다라고 경고한 것입니다. 실제로 현재의 랠리는 시스템 펀드에 의해서 기인했고 아직 트래디셔널 머니 매니저나 롱숏 에코티 펀드들은 움직이지 않았다라고 합니다.